All right, so we have a way to start our game. We have a nice start menu. We have a way to pause it and quit it. But currently, the way that the game works is that when we get to the end of the game, come on, when we get to the end of the game here, it just goes to a level called the victory level, which is sort of kind of lame. It's not really all that great. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you how to make a couple more levels real quick and easy and not having to rebuild quite so much. Okay, so I'm going to go to my assets folder. I'm going to go to scenes, and I'm going to take this level 01, and let's just duplicate it, which I don't know if it'll let me. Yeah, I don't think it lets me copy it. So I wonder if I can do it in the folder. Well, we'll just start a new level. So we'll do file, new scene, and actually cancel that. Let's go ahead and grab. Where are you? I'm going to grab this grid. I'm going to hit Control C to copy it. Then we're going to do a new scene, and we'll save. I don't know what we did. And let's see. Can I paste that? Yeah, and then we'll paste that grid in there. Okay. So at least we have something to start with. Good. All right, that looks fine. And then we're going to save this. So File, Save As. Save As. And we're going to save the scenes folder, and we're going to call it Level 2. Okay. So I just copy and pasted the grid in there. The reason why I did that way is that now you have like the basic building blocks. So what I would do is go through and delete all of the foreground and delete all of the midground and delete all of the background and then redraw them out using the tile palette like you did the first time. But that way you don't have to remake all the layers. You can also just remake them manually if you want, but that way there's something in here. Now, we're going to save that in here. Go back to level 1. Oh, actually, stay on level 2. Sorry. Let's go ahead and do File, Build Settings. We're going to add Open Scenes and put that after level 1. Okay? There you go. Now go back to level 1. Okay. So here's what I want to have happen. What I could do is that I could go to level 2 and then bring in my player, bring in all my elements like we did before, and rehook them all up and everything. And it's sort of a pain to do that every time. Okay, totally possible. We could also do something where I could take my player, and I might do it anyway. And you could take it and go to the prefabs and drop your player in there, and that way the player is you could just drop them back into the next scene, and remake the canvas elements. I could take the canvas for my UI here and drop that in, or what we could do. So we could do that. One of the issues with that, though, is that, as my player's playing, right, he gains health and he gains points. If I bring in a new one, you're going to lose all that information. So basically everything that he's gained while he was playing, he loses. He doesn't have, like, how many points he's had and how many health, if he's gained health or if he's lost health. So I'd like that to carry over. So what we're going to do instead is actually make it so that they don't get destroyed. So we're going to make a new create empty. And we're just going to call this static objects. So when something is static in code, basically it means it's something that cannot be changed. It's just an absolute. So we're going to call it static objects. And anything that exists in here, I'm going to zero all this out. Anything that exists inside of it will be, we're going to make it so that it doesn't get destroyed. So if anything gets parented to it. So I'm going to take my player, and I'm going to drag that because that's something I want to go from scene to scene. The game controller is another thing I want to go to scene to scene. My pause menu is another thing that needs to go scene to scene. The smoke particle system, the audio controller, not the grid, the camera controller, I'm going to need that. And with that, we'll also take the camera. Okay. Enemy group, nope. Vol box, nope. What's this canvas? Oh, that's the UI and that. All right. The rest of this is all dealing with stuff that we would probably want to change every time, right? So the rest of that can stay there. Oh, you know what? Take the fall box and let's make that a prefab so we can use that later on in other levels. Okay. So this is my static objects. Now, calling it static objects doesn't actually do anything. It just means it's parented to it. So now what I want to do is make a bit of code that just says don't kill these. So inside my game object, actually, where are you? Scripts. Go into your game controller script And we're just going to open it up in here. And, you know, we've put everything on void start, but really when you're hooking things up, you should put them on void awake. So void start, awake. Man, I keep doing that. I don't know how. Okay. Void start, it runs things on the very first rendered frame. Void awake means when the game like starts, initializes, it's going to run this. So this actually gets run before start does. And this is where you're supposed to make connections to things. So for instance, this pause menu GameObject.find, that should go into awake. And then this, we say, okay, now on the first frame, go ahead and turn it off, as opposed to putting them both in here. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like one would make all the connections, and the next one would maybe do like the settings. Okay, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I don't want to get it confusing. All we're going to do is this. We're just going to say, don't destroy on load. And we don't want to destroy it on load. GameObject.find. And the game object is static objects. Like that. And basically that will make sure that they don't destroy any of those things. And then you just save it. And we go over here. And you're going to see this is going to work and also not work. So I'm going to go ahead and try to beat the game real quick so you can see. As soon as it loads it up. Come on. Wait. Let me see. Static objects. That is what I named it, right? Static objects. Okay, good. Just want to make sure that this name is the same as the other one. So there we go. Okay. So we're going to play it real quick. And we're going to win it. And then you'll see that what the issue is. So, woo. Okay. Oh no! So, a couple different issues. One is inside level 2, there's already a camera, so I gotta get rid of that camera because what's happening is that it's moving my other camera, but now there's 2 of them. It's looking through the first one. That's the first thing. So actually, let's go ahead and fix that. I was gonna do that before, but I wanted to show you. So let's go to scenes, level 2. Just delete this guy. Control S. Go back to level 1. And there's another problem. You can actually tell by looking at it there as well. That, right? Boop. Oh, what happened? Oh, it did load level 2. Oh, okay. So it did work. It looked like it didn't work. That's why I was confused by it. So the other problem was, which wasn't quite so apparent, because I forgot that it's exactly the same level as before. So that's why it didn't look like it did anything. But watch. When I go like this, you can see it says level 1. When I go into it, it does go to level 2. But it's not really apparent. The issue is my player's right where he left off, right? So unless you want, when you make your levels, that every level ends where the next level started. So like, let's say this is a really long level and this is the end of this level. I'd have to start making my next level from here and keep going to the right. And then make my next level here and keep going to the right. That's kind of annoying. It'd be better to always just kind of start it at 0. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to reposition him that when they load the level, he gets loaded at 0. So for that, we're just literally going to go to, where are you? Scripts. And we're going to go to the Victory Box script, which really shouldn't be a separate script like that, but that's fine. And we're just going to add one little bit of code here. And basically, we're going to load the level that it already does. And then we're just going to say, now if you remember, it's going to do on trigger enter. And then it says, okay, if the thing that hit us is player, go ahead and do this. Which also means if I do col dot game object, so I can grab the game object of the collider that hit me, which is the player. I can do the transform dot position. And we're just going to set it to a new vector 2. And we're just going to go 0, boom, 0. So basically, we're going to say after you load the game, go ahead and just put the position of the player at 0, 0. So we'll just save that and minimize that, which I don't know where 0, 0 is. So after this gets working here, I'm going to go, where's my player? It's in static objects. Static objects. Let me see. Come on, Inspector. Show me my stuff. Come on. You can do it. There you go. Okay. So where is 0, 0? 0. It's like up here. So he's going to start up there. So what you want to do is just make sure that your level makes sense at 0, 0. So that's fine. Let's just go ahead now. If we play the game, just realize he's going to load up right up here now when he gets to the victory, which is a little bit higher than I would have liked. But now, boop, you'll see he starts up there, and now the game works the same way. But there's no victory condition here, so yay! All right, and that's basically it. And what's nice about that, like I said, is that by not destroying the things, we don't have to rebuild them every time. But it also will store, because of the player has that player's stats script. Where is it? It'll store all of his lives and a score or anything else that you have been storing onto your player throughout the game. Because you're not destroying him and recreating him every time, it will keep that, so you don't lose anything. Yeah, and that's basically it. So then after that, what you'd want to do is go to your scenes, go to your level 2 here. Yeah, you can go ahead and save. Right, and then on this grid, just to remake it, just because you probably are confused a little bit about what you're supposed to do, go to tile map. Let me see. Tile map. No, that's making it. Sorry. Window. That's not what I meant. 2D. And then tile palette. There we go. Take your tile palette, bring it over here. And then what I would do is go to the grid here. And I would just erase all the foreground things. So, oops, I'm on paintbrush. Erase. So I'd erase all my foreground elements. So you can see, I don't know if you can tell, it's erasing the grass. And then I would go to the background elements and erase that. Okay, and then the midground elements, and then you could start like erasing what you want to erase there, and then just start, you know, it was supposed to be higher, so we'll start up higher like we're supposed to, you know, and then you could start making, well, you know, draw, come on, there you go, start making your level again, and just erase ones with the eraser. And then, you know, draw ones with your drawer. Oops, and get all the elements apparently. Like so, okay? And then that would be, and then just save what you have, and then that would be your other level. And so you could just kind of copy and paste that grid. And then, you know, to put the enemies in, just go to your assets. We should already have them as prefabs. So you can take this enemy group and pluck them there, and then make adjustments and put your lives. And because they're all prefabs, they'll transfer over. All right? That's what I would do. So, hopefully that makes sense, and I'm not going to save that. Yeah, and so that's how you'd make another level. So what I would like you to do is you have now a start screen, you have a first level, you should have a second level, and a third level, okay? And they should increase in difficulty. So the first level should be relatively easy. You can make it pretty short, kind of like what this is. Then the second level, make it a little bit longer and more robust, and then the third level should be, you know, difficult, and then just have a final. We already have a victory level, so you can just have that be the final one after the third level, which just says you won. Maybe have the menu pop up there or something, something like that. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. But now the game is officially like good to go. Once you make those other levels, you should have a full game.